Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about the movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to MovieFilm. It's episode 233. It's October 16th. This is DC Fandome Day, Brian.
Yeah, it is. DC Unite.
I am Zachy Hassan. That is Brian Hall. Brian had no recollection of DC Fandome being a thing that existed until moments before we got online.
And Zachy was like, you remember we've talked about it before on this very program.
Remember exactly a year ago? You said, I love this DC Fandome thing.
I'm already counting down the days till next year.
It's so funny because you're like, so what's this? Is this some kind of a fan event of some kind that's DC adjacent, perhaps?
Yeah. Does it take place in a dome? No, I mean, I obviously can put two and two together what it is, but I remember the Batman sizzle reel. I don't know if that's the right term, but
I mean, it was really the teaser, right?
Yeah, like a really long teaser that they put out last year. I definitely remember that, but I had forgotten that it came from this event last year. So a year later, I do remember it feeling like the Batman was really, really far away when that came out, right?
It feels like it's moved further away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, wasn't it supposed to be out already? Wasn't it? Am I misremembering that?
I don't remember. I mean, we could probably return to this conversation with no time to die. It's like right? It's like a definite, wow, this was supposed to happen so long ago. And this was one of the first markers of that movie being pushed, the Bond movie. It was like, wow, things are different now.
Yep.
You know? So it was kind of a satisfying feeling finally seeing it, you know?
It's a different world.
Where we come from.
There you go. That was a good show, by the way. Different World.
You know, I never watched Different World. It's good, huh?
I mean, you know, it was. I don't know. Well, maybe good is overstating it. It was a show that existed.
You know, I think I might have been slightly too young to be interested in like college age kids.
You weren't like, I need to follow the further adventures of Denise Huxtable for a short while.
Right. No, but I did watch 90210, so figure that one out.
Okay, so you were a complicated creature who encompasses creature. Multitudes, clearly.
I actually have this memory. I think I was in elementary school, maybe 4th or 5th grade, and I was at a friend's house, and we were watching 90210, and there was a character, a girl crying on screen, and my friend's mom was like, if she's pregnant, you're turning it. I remember that to this day.
And was she in fact pregnant?
I don't remember.
Now I need to know. I need to know how that story ends.
I know. Man. Anyway.
Well, good times.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? It's even better times?
What's that?
Seeing you last week.
This is crazy. As we record, literally,
mm-hmm.
At this time last week, we were hanging out, sharing the same, block of concrete.
That's right. Yeah, we saw each other. Well, my fiance and I went up to NorCal and we saw a friend of hers, and we went and saw you and your family, and it was awesome. We saw you twice. So a week ago we hung out, had some tea and whatnot outside, and then got to see the whole family. Well, not the whole family, the rest of the family on Monday.
Well, a few of the family. I don't think you saw all of them.
Yeah, that's right.
You didn't see all of them. Cool. But I gotta be honest, I know them. You didn't miss much. As someone who knows them, I feel pretty comfortable saying that.
Yeah, well, I really, really enjoyed seeing your boys. So that was and
you know what's cool. I'll tell you. First of all, like we were meeting in downtown. Where did we meet, Brian? Downtown Palo Alto. Yeah, near Stanford. Mm-hmm. Thereabouts. And so we're kind of, the boys and I parked the car and we're like walking. First of all, Waze did me dirty.
Oh,
it's a worthless app when you are walking.
Yeah, I have found that last weekend. I found that to be true also.
I went in a circle 4 times.
Really?
So I just want to put this out there. After the second time, I'm the idiot. Because I kept going in a circle thinking, okay, maybe this time it'll be different.
Right.
It was not, in fact, different. But anyway, we get there, and my oldest, he's like, "Hey, is that Uncle Brian?" And I'm like, "Listen, son, not all white people look alike. You shouldn't." I was like, "Oh, wait, that is Uncle Brian."
And it's just me like, "Hi," like waving
yeah.
from a distance.
So we learned a lesson there. What was great, though, is we spent like, what was it, like several hours, right, just shooting the breeze. And that was like my worry a little bit. I was like, we do this so much. Is it going to be weird when we occupy the same space and suddenly it's like, so seen any good movies lately?
Yeah. Do you like stuff?
That was my concern. But the great thing is, as we left, my oldest son, who listens to the show, by the way.
Hello.
Yeah. Do your homework. He was like, that was like listening to the podcast.
Yeah. We've heard that a couple times, haven't we?
That's not a bad thing to hear, I guess.
No,
right?
no, I can think of 2 other instances where we were with a group of people and they were like, wow, it's like listening to the podcast.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, but yeah, I saw your 2 oldest boys that day and they were so much fun hanging out with them and hearing them, what they're into. And I still got to swap my PlayStation identity with
they're downstairs playing PlayStation as we speak. So.
Oh, nice.
But so that was fun. And the last time you and I saw each other in person was May of 2019.
Wow. Okay.
So it had been, because I remember this because it was like the second weekend of Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, that's right.
So it was a little stick pin in time. So it's been about 2.5 years.
Man, it's crazy. I mean, obviously there was the lost year, but that's, and it's we sort of spoke to this in person, but it's just nice having this show.
Yeah.
Because then it doesn't make it feel as long.
That's very, very true. Yeah. And so it was great to see you. It was great to see Federica. And now here we are. Let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah. It was also a nice little lesson where it was like, man, you are really not that far away. Like yes. it could be like a weekend thing. So I definitely want to do that more often.
Well, we'll keep our listeners updated on how that goes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want you to come up here more often, but I don't want you to rush more than you normally do.
Oh, well, I don't intend to do that. But you know what I do intend to speak to is Rushmore, the film that I watched last night.
What?
I know. Wow. What a crazy segue, a coincidental segue. As Zachy so adequately set me up.
Emphasis on adequate.
No, Federica and I have been having this conversation where she was like, I don't like Wes Anderson. And I was like, I get that. And she was saying she thought it was because of
what's weird though? Wes Anderson has been having this conversation about he doesn't like Federica. It's super awkward. I think we need to put these 2 kids in a room together. Yeah, they'll sort it out. They'll figure it out.
I would love to see their conversation. It'd be shot, straight on angles and symmetrically.
Gene Hackman, for some reason, shows up as a waiter and then he leaves. Yeah.
No, but she said she's had so many people tell her what a genius Wes Anderson is that it's almost kind of turned her off to him and made her be like, well, okay. Like,
I get that.
Absolutely get that. Absolutely get that. And so my thing, to sound like a total dork, when those people like, I was there first, but like,
but you were though. You got there honestly.
I did. I saw Bottle Rocket the year it came out. And was like, who is this guy, with my bud, Jason Thorwall. And so Wes Anderson kind of became our guy. And so it's just amazing that he's become this thing where whenever you do a parody of a film and you have like the 3 people you put it through the lens of, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like Wes Anderson happens to be one of those people now. And so Federica was like, okay, like let's watch Bottle Rocket. I do want to see that. You love it so much. We watched it and she really enjoyed it. And that's easily the most subtle of all his movies.
I was about to say that's like a good on-ramp.
Absolutely.
Right?
And then interestingly, you get to Rushmore next, which again, if you were following him in real time, it did feel like the natural evolution from Bottle Rocket, but he started adapting these qualities that would then be dialed up to 11 by the time you get to, Grand Budapest and those sorts of things. And so I was actually curious if that stuff would turn her off or if she would still kind of be along for the ride. And she ended up loving it.
Really?
And I have to say, that movie came out when I was 18, and I definitely liked it. And I thought it was funny, and I think I appreciated the style because I had never seen anything like that before. But now, much older, I appreciated the story even more about these sort of interesting characters and their hurts and the way they heal and whatnot. And it might have been one of my most enjoyable viewings of it. So it was really fun. And I actually wonder, she listens to the show, so I'm kind of asking through the air if we will continue with the Wes Anderson oeuvre. But
the Anderson-a-thon.
But yeah, that was a good time. So, but and you know what else I'll mention is I told you, I think 2 episodes ago, that in preparation for No Time to Die, Federica and I were going to watch all the Craig movies, right? And then on the last episode, I sort of spoke as if we had continued on that journey, but it was still more of an intention.
Sure.
To do it. And I felt like a little caught, like, oh, well, no, we'll get to that. We will get to that. And in the past week, we did watch all of them.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we caught up with all of them. And and it was really nice. I think it made No Time to Die even more satisfying because we were on the whole Craig arc.
Sure.
So, yeah. So I'll just, without speaking much to those, did get through those.
Nice. I just this morning finished watching Spectre for the second time in 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Because my boys have been watching them as well, the Daniel Craig movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to say this is not a movie you need to watch twice in 3 weeks.
Right.
I personally, I think once in 6 years is about right for Spectre.
Sure.
That's me. But we'll talk more about James Bond in a little bit.
Yeah, but I did tell my dad, because he was asking about No Time to Die, and he had not seen Spectre.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, it's worth it to set yourself up for the next one, I think.
Probably need it, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, we'll talk about that more. We got more to say.
Yeah. Well, what have you been watching?
Not much, Brian, not much.
Yeah.
What I have gotten into a rewatch of, which was unplanned, was Smallville.
Ah, okay.
This is a television show. You may have heard of it.
I recall it. I recall you being sent the entire series to review several years ago.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. 10 years ago, in fact.
Wow.
So I was working on an article for IGN, and just as a way of priming my memory, I was like, oh, I'll revisit the pilot, which I watched it when it aired,
Sure.
But I've watched it a few times. But I watched it with the kids, and then we ended up watching the second, third, and we're 16 episodes deep now.
Oh, nice.
Within a week.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm like, okay, I think we might be in this one for the long haul. So I'm actually kind of excited because,
I'm like craving some Superman stories. Maybe I should give it a go.
Well, what I will say to you is what I said to you before. Watch Superman and Lois.
Yeah, right.
I have a feeling you both would enjoy that. That's my sense.
Okay. Check that out.
All right.
And that's all?
That's kind of it for me, Brian.
Hey, I get it.
I'm just doing my thing. I'm just living my best life. Gazing off longingly into the sunset.
You know what? This isn't really movie related, but something I just did before we got on the air was I'd been saying for years that I'd been wanting to take archery lessons. And so Federica signed us up, and we did that this morning. I gotta say, have you ever wanted to try out archery?
Have I ever wanted to try out archery? I have to ponder that question. I don't know that I have wanted to, but were an arrow placed in my hand along with a bow, I would take the opportunity to shoot it at somebody. Yeah, I would.
I gotta say, it was...
I mean, a target. I would shoot it as a target, not a person.
Yeah, right.
I'm not crazy.
Yeah, I
That just slipped out, by the way, which I just learned something kind of frightening about myself. I meant the target. I absolutely...
Right. You want to hunt the most dangerous game of all.
Right. If I had a bow and arrow in my hand and I saw somebody running away, I'd take a shot. I don't know. Wouldn't you?
I love it. Wouldn't you? He asks into the universe.
That feels like I think you should leave a sketch.
Absolutely. He just keeps doubling and tripling down on it.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, I just to say, I mean, I just came from it, and I had a really good time. We both picked it up pretty quickly, and I think, I don't know, something you might enjoy, or you and the boys.
So do you feel like this will go slightly better than the Great Pottery Class Experiment of 2021?
Yeah, pottery was, this is not a passion, and it was cool to learn how to do it and try it, and I have a really crooked mug I can drink coffee from.
Mm-hmm.
But this
crooked mug, by the way, that's a Dick Tracy villain. Crooked mug.
I like it.
I had the action figure from Playmates.
Crooked Mug has just robbed the First National Bank.
That's right.
In Crime City, wherever he lives. No, I was surprised how quickly we picked it up, and our trainer was great, and our instructor, I guess you call him, and he, like, eventually when we were getting the hang of it, he started blowing up balloons and putting them at the bullseye just to make it more fun, and it was like really satisfying popping these balloons. So anyway, for what it's worth, good time.
Well, I think you are right to prepare for our eventual Hunger Games future.
Right.
Might as well beat the rush in archery classes.
That's right.
Now, right?
Yeah, I will be one of the leaders.
Exactly.
Yeah, now.
Very cool. All right. Well, here's a letter that we got from James Reed.
Okay.
And this is in regards to our commentary track for Casino Royale.
Oh.
And he says, thanks very much for that. Really enjoyed it, and I think I agreed with pretty much every point. Going to see it when it first came out, I had no idea what to expect, and that really sticks with me, and I was hugely impressed. Now, he brings up a little mistake I made. He says, I was interested in the explanation about why Blofeld did not feature much in later films, which we talked about that a little bit. One thing I did want to mention, though, was the introduction to For Your Eyes Only, which features a bald man in a wheelchair with a funny accent and a white cat, but whose face you never see. He's not named as Blofeld, but the inspiration is very clear. Yeah, so this is one of those things I knew in my head as I was saying this, that the teaser of For Your Eyes Only has a character who it's pretty clear is meant to be Blofeld.
Right.
But, and in fact, the teaser starts with Bond at his wife's grave. Right. And his wife's grave, it has the date, her date of death is from when On Her Majesty's Secret Service came out. It even says we have all the time in the world. And so, Blofeld is responsible for his wife's death. So the connection is there. I think they put that in there. They didn't name him because of the rights issue, but they basically put that in there as a way of saying, yeah, we're not going to be using that character anymore. I didn't bother mentioning that in our track because I was already in the rhythm of it. But it's worth mentioning. Also, I said that the last time he appeared in the regular series, other than For Your Eyes Only, was On Her Majesty's Secret Service. That I just misspoke. It was actually Diamonds Are Forever, the one right after that.
Oh, okay.
However, Blofeld is played by a different actor every single time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, when we finally see him in You Only Live Twice, he's played by Donald Pleasance.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and then after that, he's played by. Hold on, when do we see him? You Only Live Twice, and then Telly Savalas in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Yeah,
I'm starting to go through the old ones, so these are all.
Yeah, it's different every single time. Yeah, and then it's Charles Gray in Diamonds Are Forever, different guy every single time.
Yeah.
I think I may have mentioned this in Never Say Never Again. It's Max von Sydow.
Wow.
And that sounds like great casting, but they don't do anything with it. So that's slightly disappointing. But just as a high level, you're like, oh, that sounds great. James also adds another point. It was our mention of Michael Kamen and Metallica.
Right.
He says, as well as collaborating on Nothing Else Matters, he also collaborated with them on a live album, S&M, also the last to feature Jason Newsted on bass, which was performed with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra. It's quite an interesting album, blending a classical approach with their heavier rock stuff. Definitely recommended if you like their music.
That I remember that, and maybe I saw like a music video for it or something back in the day. But that definitely sounds like something I would enjoy. I'll have to pull up that whole album and check it out.
Yeah, just what he's describing, that definitely sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah, thank you, James. And with that, we will take a short break, come back, and talk some trailers. And we are back, and hey, Brian, there's this thing called DC Fandome.
I'm not familiar with it.
Well, you see. So, what's funny is it's coming back to me now. We were talking about, DC, they did this online convention, and I was like, it went so smoothly, and it was so, one imagines, painless for the various people involved. I could see them doing this year upon year.
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't you know, here we are. It is year upon year.
That makes total sense. I'm going to have it tattooed on my body like the guy from Memento. So every time you mention, I can look down and be like, yes, that is a thing I know.
But you're going to forget where you tattooed it.
Yeah.
So you'll tattoo it somewhere else. So your body will just be covered with DC Fandome everywhere.
Yeah, right. And like Larry Glurch is trying to kill you, or like, some sort of like thriller element. I can't remember what the name is from that movie. But...
I wish it was Larry Glurch now. Yeah? So, well, let's talk about this. We got our first look. This is, I hesitate to call this a trailer. It's really not. But we got our first look at The Flash, starring Ezra Miller, directed by Andy Muschietti.
Mm-hmm.
Muschietti.
Oh, right.
But I call him Muschietti because I'm a rude person. But also, that's just how I remember things. So this has been in development since what, like the Bush administration, I think. Like, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
I said many a time on this very podcast, Brian, I said, I'm going to stake my credibility on the fact that this movie get made, Brian. That's what I said, with my finger waving in the air.
Yeah, you know what, though? If you're correct for about 10 years, I think that's worth noting.
Touché. It's rather remarkable that it did in fact end up getting made.
Mm-hmm.
And we have proof because we have footage that is out. So let's play some of the audio of the footage,
mm-hmm.
and then we'll unpack what we can.
Tell me something. You can go anywhere you want, right? Any timeline, any universe. Why do you want to stay and fight to save this one?
Hey, I'm Michael Keaton. I'm back as Batman. There's Batmobile. You can't look at it though.
Can I see it? No.
So as soon as this dropped,
yeah,
I just heard all across the internet. I just heard boing. That's what I heard.
You know what's funny? We'll get to it. I watched the Batman trailer and I was like, wow. And then I watched the Flash trailer, and when it ended, Federica said, "Are you crying?" Because I was like, that's the Batman music. That's the Batman
music, right? Yes. As soon as you hear the music, what's funny is as soon as I heard that music, I thought of you.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, oh man, I wonder what Brian is feeling at this very moment.
Oh, I hook, line, sinker. Like, and then the whole sort of thing, with the tarp at the end over the Batmobile, which they don't even show, but I was like,
yeah,
that's the cockpit, like.
So you watch the trailer.
Yeah.
You wipe off your stomach. What did you do after that?
Sorry. What was the question?
What were you what were you feeling on the tail end of that?
Excitement and hope that the Flash doesn't take up too much space in my Batman movie. Okay,
so that was what I was trying to get to.
Right.
I was like, I'm hugely excited by the notion that this is about to exist. However,
Yeah.
This is the problem. Is this is like it's like, hey, Flash, get out of the way. I'm trying to see that movie that's existing just off camera.
Yeah, so I am so curious. And also, obviously, the Burton Batman films are singular in their aesthetic. So I'm wondering if this is some sort of multiverse sort of whatever story that he's going to. I mean, is he going to enter this crazy gothic Gotham? Or is it going to be a little smoothed out, you know? Kind of curious.
Well, the inside that we see of Wayne Manor, that's the same Wayne Manor. We saw Vicky Vale come down those steps.
Yep. Yeah, I thought of that very thing.
Right?
Yeah.
So and we hear Keaton's voice.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, I'm Michael Keaton," whatever he's saying.
Yeah, the back of his cowl.
Yeah, right. So I mean, they know exactly what they're doing.
You know, leading with that music. I mean, well, certainly they're playing to us. You know what I mean? Like, and when I say us, I mean everybody who loves those films.
I mean just you and me. No. It's playing to the hosts of the MovieFilm podcast.
It's clear they know what's gonna like make us lick our lips, and obviously, I hope it's a great Flash movie. And I think if they can perfectly, marry that where it is a Flash story in a universe that we are just chomping at the bit to return to, I think that can be incredible.
I mean, I was thinking about that because, like, you remember the promos for Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom? How they just had Jeff Goldblum like all over the place, and you're like, man, this is gonna be Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic World featuring Chris Pratt. Like that's what the marketing led one to believe,
right?
And that's sort of my worry here. Is it's going to be like one scene of Keaton being like, "Welcome to Gotham," or like whatever he says.
Yeah, or if it'll be like, I don't know, he shows up toward the end, like that's the final universe to get back home or something, and we spend like a fun amount of time there, but it's not, the real home base of the movie.
It's funny, is all the scuttlebutt has been that. On the
That's
other
the name
side,
of my imaginary friend, by the way. Scuttlebutt.
Also a Dick Tracy villain.
Yes, right. When the power goes on, I'm like, Scuttlebutt.
I think that would be like a very cool Nickelodeon weekday afternoon cartoon show.
Absolutely. Or I was thinking, it feels like one of those Disney, what is that called on Sunday evenings? Magical World of Disney or something, and there's like, the Boogity Man, remember that and all that stuff? Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
Scuttlebutt. But the talk has been that
played by Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Wow, see that if that movie does not exist, I almost feel like we should do some elaborate like scheme where we pretend it did exist and everyone's forgotten about it.
That could be like that whole, was it like the Sinbad movie where they think he's some sort of
Shazam. Yeah.
Like the Berenstain Bears thing. Like we could trick everybody into thinking that happened.
Yeah, what is that called? Mandela effect?
Yeah.
Right? Totally. Right. Anyway, what were we saying? Oh yeah, The Flash. So, what people are saying is that on the other side of this movie, Keaton is like the guy. He is the Batman of record.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't know how true that is, but we do know that Ben Affleck is like, see you later, bye, right?
Right.
We know he's in this.
Which is cool. I mean, I can't wait for this movie.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But I have many thoughts, but I'm like, we know Affleck is like entirely done. My question is how done, like, I mean, Michael Keaton is like a 70-plus-year-old man.
Mm-hmm. Which is incredible. I just learned that this week.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, okay, well, is that who you want your Batman of record to be?
Yes.
Right? Well, yes, I do.
No.
I, Zacchaeus do. But if you're Warner Brothers, I mean,
of course.
You want to be thinking like 10 years ahead, right?
Right.
And I mean, I'm kind of like, I don't even know because we got nothing in here. This is just we don't even see the Batmobile, for goodness sake.
Yeah, that's true. What a horrible tease if that's not what's underneath there. It's like you see in those kids' movies where they see like monster shadows on the wall, and it's just a pile of clothes and a chair. Like if that's what ends up being in there, you're like, oh.
So we'll see.
Or will Robert Pattinson be in this movie? I mean, will there even be like a fleeting joke where Joaquin Phoenix is in it for a brief second? He's like, well, I got to get out of this world,
Who knows? It seems like Matt Reeves has been very adamant that the Batman exists in its own world.
Right. Sure.
And like they're doing a Batgirl movie.
Right.
Which is like filming right now, apparently.
Right. For HBO Max, right?
For HBO Max. But J.K. Simmons is going to be in that as Jim Gordon.
Wait. Because Jeffrey Wright is Jim Gordon in
the Batman. Yes.
Okay. And didn't they say Batman was going to appear in Batgirl?
That's what they've said, but they're not saying who.
Wow. Okay.
And here's the thing: is J.K. Simmons is 66, Michael Keaton is 70.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on. I'm intrigued by all of it.
Yeah.
Clearly, if you listen to the last 5 minutes, it doesn't take much to get us excited.
That's true.
You just play a few chords of Danny Elfman's Batman music.
Yep.
And Brian is reduced to tears. Brian is a broken man at the end of that. So they've got our money clearly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. We'll have more. There's going to be more footage. So I assume we'll have more to say about that. But this trailer, it's like fresh. It just dropped.
Yeah. I actually laughed at our own text chain because you sent it to me with that shocked face emoji, and then I just replied with the shock face emoji, and seeing them together just cracked me up.
I picture like when Homer is doing those risque pictures. Right, yeah, exactly.
Exactly what you're talking about.
The blinds, and then Bart, and then it's Milhouse.
Yeah, he lowers the shade, on Bart, and he lifts it up, and then it's Milhouse and Bart making the same face.
That was us basically after the Batman, the Flash. Well, let's talk about the Batman trailer.
Yeah. Oh, wait, real quick. So the Flash, what's the release date? Do you know?
I will find out in just 1 second.
Yeah.
It is. I know it's late next year. It's November of next year.
Okay.
So next year, you got the Batman in March.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Flash in November.
Right.
You got Aquaman in December.
Oh wow.
And if I'm not mistaken, you got Black Adam too.
Oh. Man, DC, quite the year.
Black Adam in July.
Okay.
So that's 4 movies right there going to theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you know what's funny is like, for all the complaints people have about how superheroes are just dominating movies.
Yeah.
Which I think there's a lot of validity to that. I'm like, yeah, but people are, these are the only things doing well.
I agree with that. And I will say, I don't want them to stop
at
all. But I did enjoy Bond. I've been enjoying Bond, and I enjoyed Bond this week, I think, because it felt so different from what I've been seeing so much of. And so, to me, it doesn't mean I think there should be one or the other. I just hope they keep making everything.
Right.
Yeah,
I feel it. Yeah.
Can I ask a question real quick? And this is for people like me who didn't know what DC Fandome exactly was. And a lot of people here, they could skip ahead of that. But can you explain Black Adam to me? Well, who is that character?
So Black Adam is...
That's going to be the big summer movie next year. So it's being sold on... This is Dwayne Johnson's first ever comic book movie. Right.
And actually, there's also the DC Super Pets movie, which is May of next year.
What is that?
That's like, imagine like Secret Life of Pets crossed with DC superheroes.
Oh, so like Batman's dog and
exactly.
Dog.
So it's like Superman's dog is Crypto, and he's voiced by Dwayne Johnson, I believe. Yeah.
Wow. So is that going to be like a Lego movie kind of thing?
It's like Secret Life of Pets, but with it's Dwayne Johnson is Crypto, Kevin Hart is Ace the Bat Hound, and Mark Maron is Lex Luthor.
That's funny.
You know what? God bless.
Yeah, sure.
Right. I mean, cast out your net in as many different directions as you can.
Why not?
See what people say. But as far as Black Adam goes, so you have seen Shazam.
Yeah.
Do you remember Shazam?
I do. No, I enjoyed Shazam.
So if you remember in Shazam, when the little boy Billy, when he goes to see the wizard Shazam, the wizard says, many years ago I gave my power to one person, and he ended up abusing that power.
Right.
And that person is Black Adam, who is played by Dwayne Johnson. And this was in ancient Egypt. He's kind of like DC's version of Magneto.
Oh, okay.
Where kind of like a complicated, like an anti-hero, right? And that's something recent that they've done with the character since the turn of the century. Because before he was just kind of a cut and dry villain, but they made him more of a complicated guy. So I think this all dates to, Dwayne Johnson's been attached to that movie since like 2007.
Oh wow,
that's how long it's taken.
Okay,
and I think they wanted him to be Shazam originally, but he sort of gravitated towards this instead.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
I'm here for it.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
I would imagine, again, as I said, the hype of this being the first time Dwayne Johnson has done like a comic book movie. That's a selling point, I would think.
I would think so.
So we'll see. So DC is had quite the lineup for next year. Let's talk about the Batman.
Yeah.
So let's play some of the audio from the trailer first.
Fear is a tool. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning.
All right, Brian.
Oh, me?
Yes.
I wish I could just let loose and be as excited as everyone else. I will say I am super intrigued. And
you know what's funny? You just summed up exactly what I was thinking after watching that.
Really? Oh, yeah. I feel so much better. I saw, some responses and I was like, oh man, I don't feel this, I'm like really hoping it's going to be great. And I think that is the top line comment is like, I'm really excited for this. And I think the things that are hanging me up is that I can't quite put my finger on it a little bit. Like, I think like all Matt Reeves movies, I think it has great cinematography. I love the way that the Batmobile looks. I think Catwoman looks awesome. I think Robert Pattinson looks awesome, but like, I can't quite figure out the tone.
Well, Brian, we've joked in the past how you're like your initial reaction to seeing Jason Momoa as Aquaman was to hear "Disturbed's Down with the Sickness" playing.
Yes.
Tell me that wouldn't fit in with this.
Yeah. And I think Batman can be a very bleak character. So like, I'm interested if it's a great story, right? But I think, and maybe I'm being a bit unfair, but this is just my immediate reaction is, with the Burton movies, you're like, well, that's a take. And with even the Schumacher movies, that's a take. And Nolan's movies, that's a take. And I'm not quite sure what this is other than gritty.
Dark.
Yeah. So like, I'm really looking forward to seeing what this story is and hoping that it has a voice. That's the complicated answer, but I am like super interested in looking forward.
Like I'm down.
Yeah.
With the sickness. Matt Reeves is doing it. This cast is like unimpeachable, right?
Yeah.
But I had a couple of thoughts. I'm like, there's the one bit in there where somebody's shooting like a rapid fire gun at Batman, and it's just bouncing off
in that hallway. Yeah,
right?
It looked cool.
And it's a cool visual. But I'm like, remember at the beginning of the Burton movie, like he takes a shot in the chest, he gets knocked down. There's like a second.
They're never going to keep him down.
Right.
Yeah. No, yes, yeah. Got some
I get that
kind
in
of
my head.
putty on him.
So I was just thinking about all these things. I'm like, I think Batman is a character that lends himself to a variety of interpretations. So I'm all about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember feeling after The Dark Knight where I was like, okay, I feel like we've done all of this version.
Mm.
I'm ready for something different.
Sure.
And I suppose the Ben Affleck incarnation was supposed to be kind of slightly more comic booky.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the Warner Brothers people just feel like, oh, for whatever reason, like that wasn't well received, or at least that's their perception.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, let's double down on what Nolan did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's my only cause for concern is I'm kind of like, I know what I felt like at the end of The Dark Knight Rises.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure I want to just like steer down that alley even further. You know what I mean?
Right. With a bit more grime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my reaction to this trailer is I'm like, well, you know what? Obviously, I'm going to watch it. I'm down. All the elements are there for me to find something I'm sure I'll like. But the trailer by itself, this one did not do as much for me as the teaser trailer last year did.
You know, it's I truly am like I saw all these people like that's my Batman like at long last, and then I was like, oh man, I don't know, like I got to be honest, and like, but I don't want to be like a party pooper, so like, it was so
yeah,
great.
no, but I think part of it is you've had your Batmen. Like there's also that, you know what I mean?
That's very true.
You know, the Burton movie hit you at a certain point, the Nolan version hit you at a certain point, and it's like, well, there's only so many of these that are going to hit you that way, just that way, you know?
That is very true. That's a good point.
You know?
I mean, Exhibit A, then me watching the Flash trailer next and like,
yeah, right. Exactly.
having to scoop me up off the floor.
Right, exactly.
And you know, also worth throwing out there is I'm looking forward to seeing what Alfred is like.
Yes.
I think every Alfred has been, the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Alfred has been different, but there's still like a warmth to it. And I'm just very curious what this one will be like.
That is pretty cool. And I really feel like that's something that the movies have made almost more integral.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Is that, you know, partially because the movies have tended to do without Robin.
Right.
And so Alfred kind of serves that role, you know?
The heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was news making the rounds yesterday that Michael Caine, speaking of Alfred, has retired.
Yeah, I saw that.
See this? And then he just tweeted earlier today. He says, "I've not retired, and not a lot of people know that."
Huh.
That's
Okay.
my Michael Caine.
Yeah, it's good.
And I was like, all right, good. Crisis averted.
Right. So we know he'll be in Nolan's Oppenheimer movie.
I picture like Christopher Nolan throwing himself out a window. And then Michael Caine tweets that, and then he goes, and he goes all the way back into the building.
Right.
That's very cool. All right, hey, let's take another short break, and we can talk some headlines.
Sure.
And we're back.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, we're you know, speaking of things hitting you a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
recently we did our commentary track for the Rocketeer,
Right.
and we both talked about how, you know, that was like that came out at exactly the right time to just permanently take up a place in our collective hearts and minds and imaginations.
Yep, which it indeed does.
And very much so. And so when this news broke that there was a new version of the Rocketeer,
Mm-hmm.
it warmed my heart that people reached out to me on all manner of social media to make me aware of it.
Oh, that's nice.
It's funny, actually. Similar thing happened with this week as we're talking. William Shatner went up into space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We were talking about it last week. We were like, hey, I said this at the time. I was like, everybody's making a big deal about William Shatner, the novelty of him going up into space. Yeah. And I'm like, he's a 90-year-old man. We should at least be a little worried.
Right.
But thankfully, we're on the other side of it, and things turned out fine. But there was a meme making the rounds. I'm sure you saw this, where it says, when William Shatner comes back to Earth, everyone should dress up in Planet of the Apes costumes. You saw this, right?
Right.
And it warms my heart that so many people know me so well that I had people sending me this meme via text, via tweet, via Facebook, via carrier pigeon. I mean, you name it.
Right.
This meme was arriving on my doorstep.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I'm like, oh, this is great. People know me really well.
Yeah.
But it was very funny to me. I don't know if you saw this. When Shatner landed, did you see how emotional he got?
Yeah.
Like he really, he had to compose himself. I mean, his voice was cracking. He's talking about, just what it felt like to experience this. And I just, for some reason, I just picture like the one guy with the Planet of the Apes mask, like standing to the side.
Slowly takes it off.
Slowly takes it off and backs away.
And all his other coworkers just look at him shaking their heads like,
yeah, right.
Damn it, Jensen.
Anyway, so kind of the same thing happened with the Rocketeer reboot that they announced a couple weeks ago now.
Mm-hmm.
We've been weaning this has been in our we got to talk about this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, huge fans of the Rocketeer. I mean, they've been talking about bringing this back for a while now. In film, it was a Disney animated show, and this sounds like it's going to be a Disney Plus film, right?
Yes.
Exclusive.
Yes.
But I think it sounds great. I mean, it's the whole. I was wondering if it was going to have to be someone years later. What's the time period? It just feels like it belongs during the World War II sort of years. I mean, for good reason, because that's what the comic and the first film are. So it's cemented in my head that way. But it sounds like now, the whole conceit is going to be that a Tuskegee airman.
That's right.
Straps on the jetpack. And I was like, oh, come on. That's perfect.
Great premise.
Perfect. Yeah.
So this is as of now, it's being produced by David Oyelowo.
Mm-hmm.
Although he could conceivably star.
Sure.
I can totally see him starring.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, this is the title is The Return of the Rocketeer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a live action being developed for Disney Plus. And I was thinking about how it's great that Disney Plus is a venue for something like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been keeping track. I know Netflix, you tend to know when their movies are dropping and Amazon Prime and whatnot. But I feel like I haven't really clocked a lot of Disney Plus movie events.
Right.
And it's just such a perfect avenue, right? I mean, it feels like a lot of people have it, and Mandalorian and all those things make headlines and people talk about it. Why not obviously I would like to see this movie on a big screen if they're so inclined, because even Netflix will do that occasionally with something like The Irishman. But
yeah, right.
Having said that, if that's what allows this movie to exist, Disney Plus, then I'll take it.
Well, we're seeing this a lot with Disney Plus, right? Other than Marvel and Star Wars, it's a lot of dusting off these old IP.
Yeah,
right. Because they did the Game Changers, the Mighty Ducks.
Right.
And I think they have Turner and Hooch.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And they got the Willow sequel that's coming.
Forthcoming, yeah.
So, I mean, it seems, again, it's like, if it's a choice between going to this venue and not existing at all, this is a way for this stuff to potentially make a mark. I mean, it might suck for all we know. Hopefully it won't.
Don't know.
But,
yeah.
We roll the dice, but, it seems like a theatrical sequel would be more of a coin toss than making it for Disney Plus.
Agreed. I mean, sadly, I don't foresee a Rocketeer sequel making over $100 million, if I'm being honest.
No, right,
because
exactly.
There's a subset of people who are enamored with it. But on the other hand, you can sort of regenerate interest this way, and then you could sort of get a whole new generation weaned on it, and then, it lives on.
Right.
Yeah.
The one thing I do hope, I hope we get Billy Campbell in there.
Yeah. Yeah, some sort of cameo. Which would be interesting, though, because obviously, what has it been, 20, 30 some years or since the film, but if this takes place in a similar time period.
Well, when would it be set, right? It would be... That's a good question.
You know what? I just because it mentioned a Tuskegee Airman, I was thinking of World War II, but it doesn't have to.
But it would be after. It would be after that, right?
Yeah. So it could be 20 years after or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think Billy Campbell could play like 10 years younger than he is right now. You know?
Yeah.
I think it should be all about the new Rocketeer. He's got the rocket pack. He's trying to get the rocket back to Cliff Secord. And at the very end of the movie, we see Cliff Secord.
Right. And he's like, it looks good on you.
No. The guy reaches out with it, hands it towards him.
Yeah.
And then credits.
Ah, I see.
Sorry. That was clearly that reference did not work. And then the beginning of the next one, he throws it over his shoulder.
That's right. And everyone says it's genius. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to this. So
same.
Return of the Rocketeer is coming. We don't know when, but I'm sure we will have more to say about that as it gets closer. Let's talk about the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit, if nothing else, just for completeness sake, because we did spend some time going into this.
Yeah. So that was getting kind of nasty for a minute there. We had some back and forth between our legal team and
they were like, "Why do you want money during a pandemic, Scarlett?"
Right.
Yeah, as legal strategies go, not the best. I'm just going to say.
Yeah.
So that has been resolved, and one presumes it got resolved because the Disney folks probably were like, "Well, like we need these people to be in our stuff."
Yeah, and it would be sort of a deterrent for other people that I'm sure they would like to work with if it makes them look difficult, right?
Yeah. Like that was my thought, right? It's for an unresolved amount, although I'm assuming my guess would be she got something pretty close to what her expectation was initially, you know? But you know, what we heard when all this broke is that like Kevin Feige was perturbed.
Yes.
Because he has really worked hard to maintain good relations with all these actors, which is why they're able to, when you look at like What If, and they can like rope in Michael B. Jordan for like an episode of that. And here's Chris Hemsworth, you know?
Right.
It's because clearly they've done what they can to make it worth these people's while.
Right.
Right. And the Marvel machine really runs on being able to just smoothly move these people in and out of stuff.
Right.
And so when you think about it, it's rather remarkable that the Scarlett Johansson, the lawsuit, is like the first time that in the post MCU age they've had to deal with something like this.
Yeah.
With talent, I mean.
And that's amazing considering how much talent they're pleasing with all these movies.
Yeah, that's right.
But I didn't know this, but I mean, she has another Disney movie already lined up, Tower of Terror.
Right. So. And I'm sure that was also part of the process.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. Now, what's interesting is the Russo brothers are themselves in, legal wranglings with the Marvel, because they were in negotiations to take on another Marvel movie. But because of I'm guessing not because of salary, but probably because of distribution and not wanting it to go to Disney Plus. Like there's sort of this unresolved thing, and I'm that's what I keep thinking about. I'm like, if what the box office seems to show us over the last say a month is that anticipated movies, if you put them in theaters, people will go see them. So there's no reason to throw them on Disney Plus,
right? Yeah. Although it's interesting. I just saw just today that Halloween Kills.
Yes.
The latest Halloween movie is on Peacock, which I thought was crazy, and apparently did really well theatrically.
Well, that doesn't count because no one has Peacock. But anyway, no.
I was like, oh, that's interesting. I mean, it did 50+ million, I think, or it's set to do that this weekend.
It's overperforming.
I was going to say above projections. So you can't we're figuring this out as we go.
I think the Peacock situation is a little bit different because I think the number of people who have Peacock is so small relative to other streaming services that it's just not going to be much of a dent. And I can't imagine that there's very many people who are like, "Oh, Halloween Kills is going to be on Peacock. I'd better get Peacock."
Sure.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
Right? Now that said, I mean, I have Peacock. I like it.
Yeah.
So I'm not anti.
Okay.
I was thinking about it. I've got access to just about every streaming service. So I'm definitely not the norm.
Sure.
Right? Because Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Peacock. I think I'm missing one. And like Vudu. That doesn't really count. So, I mean, that's basically everything, right?
See, Federica and I have a funny situation as our lives become one, as two lives become one. We both have Netflix, but we're like, well, yeah, but my family and a former coworker and a cousin and like kind of use my Netflix. And she's like, well, yeah, my family, and so it's weird. Like if we were to, either of us were to give up, Netflix, we would be disrupting set amount of people's lives. So
that's really funny. And that's just a new reality in the streaming era.
Isn't that funny? I mean, for us, is this bad? I'm admitting this on air. I don't know. But for us, it was, we both have Disney Plus and we both have Netflix, and there's some others that don't overlap. But those two, we realized if either one of us got rid of them, we'd be disrupting many people's viewing habits. So
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So,
well, these are the things. These are the hard conversations you guys got to have.
I know. If we can survive this, we can survive anything.
Yeah, it's a struggle, but it'll be worth it on the other end.
Yeah.
Let's take another break, and then we will talk about the latest James Bond movie. Hey, we're back, Brian.
Hey.
You know who else is back?
Who's that?
It is Daniel Craig as James Bond for one last time.
One last time.
Because Brian, he ain't got no time to die.
That's right. Not anymore.
Not anymore. So it has been 6 years since the last James Bond movie. As I said in our previous episode, during the time it took for Spectre to give way to No Time to Die, we've had an entire Star Wars trilogy. Not merely a Star Wars trilogy. We've had Disney's entire Star Wars franchise.
I could not believe it when you said that. That's crazy.
We got your Solo and your Rogue One and your Mandalorian. We got 2 seasons of The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Yeah. No, if you had asked me when Spectre came out, I'd be like, I don't know, 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So with No Time to Die, we bring the curtain down on a 15-year, 5-movie, what turned out to be an arc for Daniel Craig's version of James Bond. I have many thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts, Brian.
Well, I have many thoughts too. This being very non-spoilery, I'll give very general sort of feelings. I don't know what it was, even before. I guess it was in anticipation of this movie, but Federica and I started going through the old Bonds, and I was like, man, I'm just loving these. I don't know how I've missed them all these years. And then, of course, in anticipation of this film, we started going through the Craig Bonds, and we did the commentary for Casino Royale. And I mean, I remember liking that movie, and now I am fairly confident that is just one of my favorite action films. Full stop, period. Right. Like, it's just, even on its own, it doesn't need another film. Like, Casino Royale is a fantastic film. And so it's been interesting then going through all of the other Craig movies and seeing how they just come so close, to being great, but they never reach Casino Royale again, Yeah. But I'm not mad about it. Like, even with Spectre, I think when you have them all as a collection, I just enjoy Craig as Bond. So you can nitpick and you can be bummed and you can whatever, but I haven't regretted any of them. And so this movie is really interesting because like if I'm being like charitable and I'm like, how is this just as a Bond film? That's one feeling. And how is this as a wrap up of this Craig saga? Like that's another feeling, I guess.
Yeah.
And I would say, is this a satisfying Bond film? I would say, yeah, largely. I would say there's a lot to like, but it also tries to do a lot, right? Like it tries to wrap up things that have come before. It tries to put like buttons on things, and it ends up, you know, there's like fun action moments. There's some good emotional moments, but it's just, I mean, it's almost 3 hours long, right? And it did feel like a lot. And so I can't help but point that out and say that I think there are things that we can nitpick and have feelings about, and we can talk about a lot of those things in spoilers. But that said, and maybe I'm just being charitable, because I've seen some people be like, it's great, and I've seen some people hate it. Right. And I would say, not being a Bond mega fan, but someone who has enjoyed swimming in the Bond universe as of late, I really did enjoy being with Bond again. And there were some things I wish had gone different ways, and there were some things I wish we had spent more time with. But I can't, when I left the theater, I definitely just felt like that was an experience, and so I definitely think it's worth checking out. Certainly if you have been watching the Craig films, but I can't help but have feelings at the same time about certain things that, again, we can get into later. Does that make any sense?
It absolutely does.
Yeah. How about you? How about yourself?
I think that I thought it was just okay.
Yeah.
That's basically where I landed. As you said, I'm 100% down with Daniel Craig's portrayal of James Bond. I think when we look on balance, we have to say that more often than not, his performance was better than the movie he was in.
100%. And I think, honestly, I just want to add to what I just said. I really do think it's spending time with Craig.
Yes.
That made me happy during this film.
Yes.
Even though the film wasn't doing everything I wished it would do.
I think the problem I had is, to me, it exposes the limitations of trying to do very dour, serious James Bond. Like, I think that's what these 5 movies have exposed.
Yeah.
On some level. A little bit of like what I said about The Dark Knight Rises, where they ended and when that movie ended, I had a visceral negative reaction. I did not feel that here in the same way, but I definitely felt like, okay, we've done that. That's fine. Let's do something else now.
I agree with that.
That, like, I'm like, we've done 5 movies, 15 years of going down one direction, and the James Bond films have shown this sort of tonal elasticity, so I'm ready to see him stretch back. I want some whimsy back, because to me, this film, I mean, it was at times, it was not just dour, it was dire. It was like, it was just so like oppressively grim at times that I'm like, I have room for this in my Bond worldview, but I'm just like, that's, I want, the over the top villains, and I want,
and this wasn't a particularly captivating villain.
This, in all honesty, Rami Malek, do you know the villain's name, by the way? Just say it from memory.
I only know because I'm looking at it in front of me.
Okay. Lucifer Safin.
Yeah.
It's like it's like an endurance test just trying to get through the name. But probably, given the performer, probably the worst villain I've ever seen in a James Bond movie, in my opinion. In
terms of just their mission?
The motives make no sense. The performance was nondescript. The tension between him and Bond wasn't really there. Like, it didn't work on any level for me. And given what this movie ends up as,
Mm-hmm.
that can't help but be disappointing. Does that make sense?
I agree with that. Yeah.
You know, so it's weird. I mean, I definitely like it was just like, and I have more thoughts in that I can talk about in terms of spoilers, but like the movie ended and I wasn't like, oh, that sucked and I wanted to pull a Sean Coyle and throw my
Ticket in the garbage.
ticket in the trash. It wasn't that, but it was definitely like, all right, we've done it now, you got it out of your system, let's go back to something a little more traditional,
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there's a whole sequence in Cuba, right,
Yeah.
with Ana de Armas. That's
which is the closest we get to like an old school Bond.
I was gonna say, yeah, like that. It's like about 10 minutes long, and it's just so much fun. It crackles.
Yeah.
Right. And I wish there had been more of that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's also, as it's wrapping up a saga that maybe they didn't even quite realize they were doing.
That's part of my problem.
Right.
That's
like
a big part of my problem.
The movie's saddled with them having to, make sense of all of that.
Yes. Right. That was a big issue for me. I'm like, you didn't set out 15 years ago, planning this, and so then you say, well, why did you saddle yourself with this when you didn't need to? Nobody was expecting it,
right?
Right.
And it's I heard other people say this, so, and I had similar feelings, but I have to credit that this wasn't originally my idea, but just saying they compared it to the Star Wars sequels, where it felt like they were sort of working backwards. Trying to make some things happen, and it just felt like it wasn't completely thought out, so that it played out in a satisfying, like, oh, well, that definitely felt like they had A, B, and C in mind, right? and I
well, except for somehow Palpatine survived,
right? Yeah, you sent me that, yeah. And so it's kind of a bummer, because if you take a step back and you're like, okay, so this is the Craig saga, the Bond saga, and even again in spoilers, we'll get to some of it, but like certain things that happen in this movie and character relationships and whatnot, you're like, oh, like if they had thought ahead and seeded this a little better or differently, I would feel so much more.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I'm sort of at war with myself, because I'm also like, yeah, but it was rollicking, and like I was when I came out. I'll get more into how I felt when I came out, but like, what? It could even be like, it's just fun to watch a movie like this on the big screen again. I'm sure that plays into it partially also. Like,
I think that's a factor, no doubt. And I think it is a beautiful big screen movie.
Absolutely. And at the end, he's in like some huge factory and there's bombs being planted and gunfire, and there's a whole unedited shot where he's going up a staircase just taking guys out. And it's like, I can't help but be like, yeah. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I have those feelings mixed with the other feelings of the things that made this a almost 3-hour movie.
It did not need to be that long. It just didn't.
No.
It just didn't. It felt indulgent to me. And this is actually a critique I have with both Spectre and this one is, like, just trim the fat, guys. Come on. You know? And I, when you have epic length, you sort of invite epic aspirations. And I don't think this was an epic story. And so it's, as you say, like, my takeaway is, if you were to watch all 5 Craig movies back to back to back to back, I feel like you will be probably satisfied. Mm-hmm. But and this is kind of what you alluded to earlier. If we're looking at what constitutes a James Bond movie, this did not give me that.
Sure.
And we can get into, is that my fault? Right?
It'd be funny if by the end of this we're blaming ourselves.
I mean, in all honesty, Brian, I've thought about this. I'm like, is it my fault for expecting the tropes and the this and that? Because this is them trying to subvert whatever those tropes are.
Yeah.
And what I would offer is, I think at some point you move so far afield from what this franchise has conditioned us to expect that
it's no longer that thing that you like.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to view it differently. So then you say, well, here, I'm like talking you through my thought process. If we say that, okay, well, this is trying to do something different, then my response is, why are you leaning so heavily on the inherent nostalgia of the franchise then?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whether it's music cues or callbacks to specific phrases or whatever, not merely nostalgia like of within the Craig movies. I mean the Bond series as a whole.
Sure.
So which is it?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm a very mixed response to this.
Yeah.
But I have more thoughts that I can't really say without spoiling. So
all right. Well, spoilers?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Spoilers.
Okay. So, hey, let's get the big one out of the way. So the movie ends with James Bond dying.
So that's what I couldn't really say in the first half. But
Yeah.
when Federica and I walked out, we were both like, I'm bummed. Like, I'm really bummed. I didn't cry, but I felt like a sadness in my chest, and it was, we were saying, this movie feels a lot like The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Very much. And
Clearly.
yeah. And I was thinking on that movie, and I'm glad Bruce Wayne lived. I would have been really bummed out if Batman had actually, or no, Bruce Wayne. I would have been really mad or sad if Bruce Wayne had died. So, and I was thinking, but there is a way. Bond is different, right? Like he's like an instrument. He's a killer, right? And I feel like there's sort of a way to have him die that feels somewhat satisfying, where if this movie had been about him maybe connecting with other agents or something, like the new 007, and then he doesn't get along with them, and then by the end he ends up sacrificing so they can go on to continue to fight the good fight, you'd be like, well, he was a great agent, right? But the cruelty of this movie is they basically give him a family, and he finally, this killer finds peace,
right?
Only to have it, like, then first things that we learn is that he can never touch them again, which is horrifying. And then he's just gonna die. Right. And it was just like, I can be okay with it. I can appreciate that as a choice, as an ending.
Yeah.
And I even thought that was a brilliant last line. Let me tell you about a man named Bond, James Bond.
Yeah. Oh, great. That's great. Yeah.
But I felt like crap. I didn't enjoy seeing him blow up. I'm going to be honest. Tell me, you've been attached to this character a lot longer than I have. How did you feel?
Okay, well, so a couple points here. Okay, so this is, I talk often about when I watch a movie, I end up doing movie math.
Okay.
And so I gamed out very early on that the movie would end with Bond dying.
Right.
And my process there was, number one, it's 5 years later, and we have a new 007.
Yeah.
And she is a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, there is no way that this movie ends with him being like, give me my number back, new 007. I was like, there's just no way they would do that, right?
Right.
That was my first thought. And then I was like, we've had, of the 5 Craig movies, Casino Royale, Spectre, Skyfall, and Spectre involve Bond like retiring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we've done that already.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so it seems unlikely that we're going to repeat the end of the last movie at the end of this one, where he just leaves and there's a new 007, right? So I was like, it feels like we're moving towards Bond dying. That was my thought. And then when they killed off Felix Leiter, I was like, if Felix is dying, I feel like we're moving towards Bond dying also.
Interesting.
That was where my head was at going into Act 3. To the point where when he was like about to escape at the end, I was like, no, well, he's got to die though.
Oh, that's funny.
So, and not even that I wanted it, but I was just like, that feels like that's where the story I don't know how else you resolve the various pieces you've put in place here.
Right.
You know? So, two things. As a concept, am I against showing Bond dying? No, in the sense that I'm open to anything if you do it well. But I'm also like, this is the first time in 25 movies in 60 years you've killed off James Bond. Right? So first time, because it's like a video game, right? You get a new, you get a one up right after, you know. But I had a couple thoughts. I'm like, this is the age we're in now, where we kill our heroes.
It's so true. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so one thought I had was, suddenly I'm very worried about Indiana Jones.
Oh no. Yeah.
Right? Because I'm like, this is just what we're doing now, clearly. The other thought, though, is I'm like, you have to, if this is the death of James Bond, it's weird how sort of antiseptic it felt. It didn't feel like anything to me, you know? And as a point of comparison, I was looking at like the death of Tony Stark in Avengers Endgame. Like, that felt meaningful and satisfying in a way that I didn't particularly feel in this. I felt like it was fine. Yeah, you know, sure, I guess, you know. But then I was like, shouldn't the death of James Bond elicit more than a sure, I guess?
Do you think it was in the execution? I mean, if he had been in the middle
No pun intended.
What? Oh,
no pun intended.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, if he had been, say, talking to Madeline, and saying goodbye while he was literally holding a piece the way it had to be for them to live, or so, you know what I mean? Like,
you know, well, here's one
just
problem.
Standing there.
Here's one problem.
Yeah,
he's like waiting to die.
Yeah.
The other thing, I feel nothing for the relationship. That was my other problem.
Yeah.
Because we talked about Casino Royale. I'm like, I believe he's madly in love with her.
I agree.
Whereas in Spectre, which again, I just watched it a couple hours ago, you know, they've known each other for like a day, and then she's like, I love you. And I'm like, I don't believe that.
Yeah, rewatching Spectre recently, it just felt like it happened because that's what happens in a Bond movie, and then in the next one you get another girl. But in this one, we're to believe that was like a new sweeping romance.
She's the love of his life.
Right.
I didn't feel anything for their relationship, you know.
I caught up to it a little bit in this one because the movie wanted me to, but I agree. By and large, I agree.
I think
nowhere near the level of Vesper.
I think in the beginning of the film, when right before the Billie Eilish song plays, where he watches her get on the train, I think that was a great scene, you know?
It was hard, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that really worked. In fact, the whole teaser was really good.
I loved the opening.
It's fantastic.
It felt like a horror movie.
Yeah, right. I mean, it all hung together really well.
Yeah.
But I think by the way, I'm a lot of jangled, mangled thoughts here, but you're telling me that this is the last Bond adventure, you know, quote unquote, and you kill off Blofeld like that, and you have this random guy be the guy who does it?
Did that feel like just picking up pieces? Kind of, I mean, he gets like one scene, just kind of scene. Over.
It made absolutely no sense that the last movie you're setting up Spectre. This is the worst out of all of them. They're the biggest bads, and in like 2 seconds, everybody from Spectre's wiped out.
That was kind of funny. I mean, yeah, we were laughing about that. Like, it just felt like this thread, and they're like, how do we wipe out like the most dangerous secret evil organization in the world? And it's like, just kill them all at once, and Bond is magically immune to it. You know?
Yeah. I mean, you know, let me put it this way. Like, Dark Knight Rises, one of my critiques of that movie is an unavoidable critique, which is, if you're doing the last Batman story, how on earth can you not have the Joker be his final villain? And in the case there, well, it's like, well, obviously, you know, the real world intervened, right?
Right.
Well, here, I mean, you've set up Blofeld as like the guy, and then you take him out like a punk.
You know, and what's the point of putting him in some sort of Hannibal Lecter like glass case if you can touch him?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Or he can touch you. Yeah.
It was kind of hilarious to me just how long it took for his little chair thing to come out.
That could have been an Austin Powers moment.
That right? That's what that's my thought. It's just like, and it's just like the static shot.
Yeah.
As it just inexorably moves towards them, you know?
It'd be funny halfway. He's like, "I'll just be a second James." And then, of course, Austin Powers would be like, zzz, zzz, and it would stop,
Right.
and you'd have to hit it, and then it would go again.
It really did feel like that.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with them being like, all right, let's try to tie in the threads from Spectre, fine. But to me, the idea that you're going to tie in the threads just to snip them is very odd. Because again, it's Lucifer Safin, and
Yes.
God, I hate that name. He's a dumb, dull villain.
Yeah.
I don't buy anything about the enmity with Bond. And to me, I'm just like, if you're telling me this is like the last Bond's last adventure, well, you got to earn that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it feels like they try to go for it in that this is literally the world at stake, right? He's going to unleash like this virus on the world, but I just didn't feel it.
But that doesn't matter to us.
Yeah.
Right? Because those numbers are so big, it pales in comparison with something smaller, right? So, I mean, I don't know what you do, right? Because originally, I should say this actually, in terms of the directing, I think he did great. I think it's his eye for shots.
Yes.
Is fantastic.
Agreed.
And by the way, Fukunaga, he's the first American to ever do a James Bond movie.
Yeah, I wonder what the thinking was.
I think partially it was like desperation.
Yeah, because Danny Boyle dropped out kind of last minute, right?
Danny Boyle. Now they said creative differences, and I'm wondering if Danny Boyle was like, I don't want to kill James Bond.
Which is funny because at the time, I think people thought that he would probably want to kill James
the opposite, Bond. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
So I wonder where this came from. I truly do.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, sorry, folks, my thoughts are not in any way like ordered. This is just stream of consciousness because I've waited like 3 weeks to talk about this movie.
Yeah. Oh, right. You saw it early. Yeah.
I saw it early, so I've had to keep it to myself. I wonder if part of my sort of nonplussed reaction is the knowledge that, well, as soon as it goes to black, you're like, okay, well, we're done until the next guy. Like, there's no true permanence to this. Not to say that we expect that.
Right.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like I said, I mean, when I walked out, I was sad. So it did work for me. I will say, like the bummerness of it all.
it's a bummer, but it didn't sit with me. Like I wasn't like, I was like, oh, I'm sad that James Bond died, but then I got on with my day because there wasn't, to me, like in comparison with like when Han Solo died. Man,
sure,
that was like. I've talked about this on the show, right? I mean, I spent a good 36 hours working through that.
Right. Which makes sense though, because I mean, it's been Harrison Ford our whole lives.
Yeah.
But I will say I could track with this guy. Just, his family is now left without him and blah 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 blah. And then of course James Bond will return, but he'll be a whole other person. Does that make sense? I mean, like
it does,
but I can understand what you're saying too.
Here, I think for me, as I said at the start of our our spoiler discussion, as a concept, I don't mind killing off Bond. I feel like if you're going to do it, it should be a bigger deal than it felt like to me. Mm-hmm. The other thought is I think one of the things people like about James Bond movies is James Bond doesn't die, and that's not even something you need to contemplate. Like, you watch a James Bond movie to watch him, to know he's going to win. Mm-hmm. And that was what kept gas in the tank for these movies for 20 years. even though the guy playing it changed, it was the very formula that people liked.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question then becomes, what's next? How do you come back from this?
Mm-hmm.
Do you get to just go back to the old formula?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, when something's this old, because you almost do feel like you have to acknowledge things about yourself.
Yeah.
Right. But then once you do that, can you go back?
Right.
And I would hope so. Like, I do want to see a quippy Bond again, and I want to see gadgets that are a little day after tomorrow. And
right.
There's like a gag in one of the movies where Q says something about, we don't really do exploding pens anymore.
That's right.
And I'm like, well, why not?
Yeah, it's the other thought I have is it's a shame to lose all these great supporting characters.
I thought that too. Right? I actually did enjoy seeing Moneypenny, M, and all those people in a room, together,
like mourning him,
supporting him. And then also I thought Bond worked well off of everyone he was paired with in this movie. I mean, Nomi,
yeah, I agree,
as the new 007. For a moment, she gives the title back to him, but like,
right,
I thought they didn't get a ton of time together, but I enjoyed his a little, like, oh, like, you've moved on, from me. But I thought they were kind of fun, and certainly him and the I can't think of the character's name, the Ana Damas character, like, that was a fun thing. Them, where he takes the tray and they like toast some drinks and blow crap up, like,
right.
It was fun watching him bounce off of his supporting characters, but it'll be a shame to lose this iteration.
Ray
you
Fiennes,
just start over?
Yeah, well, they're going to have to, right? Because that was my thought. I was like, it used to be the supporting players would carry on, but James Bond would change, and usually there was like a new Moneypenny for each new Bond. Although Lois Maxwell was the same for Connery and Roger Moore, but after that you had I think Carolyn Bliss played Moneypenny during the Dalton movies. Samantha Bond was during the Brosnan ones. But there was still a sense of continuity, right? Mm-hmm. And now I'm kind of like, well, we have to brush all of this now.
Yeah.
And we just start over. And that's kind of a shame. I like Q,
Mm-hmm. Same.
Q is, by the way, canonically gay now. I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Right.
Little thing they just threw in there.
What was it? His cat? And what would Bond say? Like, yeah, they come with fur now.
Right.
That's funny.
I mean, he's so good, Daniel Craig. Like, I'm sad to see his era end.
Me too.
But I also think it's exciting whenever a new Bond comes in.
Yeah, agreed.
There's also that. So definitely, like, I wish the movie worked better for me. I didn't hate it, but I was envious of the people who were extremely moved by it. I was not. I just wasn't,
I think I was a bit more than you, and I don't know if it's because I was just, my head was in this universe. So, I mean, we watched like 3 or 4 of these movies almost back to back.
Yeah.
So I couldn't help but be connected with it. But I also could clearly see the things that I wish had been different.
Yeah. I you do the math. This is my critique of the Dark Knight movies, is when you do the math, he was Batman for about like a year.
Oh, right.
And I feel like, I mean, he's been a 00 slightly longer, but not very much.
It gets a little fuzzy, right? I mean, well, if his daughter is 4 or 5?
She's 5.
Yeah.
So it's the same as the snap in Avengers.
Yeah.
They needed that time to give the character a kid.
Right.
But the movie is set in 2020, I think.
Oh, is it?
I believe. And because we see Vesper's gravestone.
Mm-hmm.
And it says 2006.
Right.
So then that means we've gone in real time.
Right.
But here's the thing. Of the 14 years since Casino Royale, 5 of those he's been not an agent.
Mm-hmm. That's a long time.
So then that right? What's that?
That's a long time.
That is so. So then 9 years, and it basically, like when him and Felix have their like buddy scenes, which I just enjoy seeing Jeffrey Wright playing off of him. But they're alluding to adventures that we've never seen.
You know what? I can live with it, but that scene, he seemed genuinely connected to Felix.
Right.
And devastated when he died. And then there's that moment later when he crushes that guy with a car, which is awesome. He's like, I had a brother. His name was Felix Leiter. And it made me want more.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It made me wish that he and Felix had kind of, again, like the Cuba moment. Like, I wish we had kind of gotten maybe like a Felix scene in each film. So I felt even a bit more of that connection between the two of them.
Yeah.
But yes, you do kind of have to be like, well, they had adventures we didn't see.
Yeah. And that's a lot of this movie because we have to say that most of Bond's 00 time happened off camera.
Yeah.
Because Casino Royale and then Quantum happens right after Casino Royale.
Right.
So there's no time gap there. And then we jump ahead for basically 6 years to Skyfall.
Mm-hmm.
And then Spectre is right after Skyfall.
Oh, interesting. I see. Yeah.
Because Spectre picks up, remember, because he's looking at M's video that she left him.
Mm-hmm.
So Spectre's right after Skyfall. So we got Quantum of Solace and Casino Royale are right on top of each other. 6 year gap, and then so even longer potentially, depending on when Skyfall is set. So that's my point is like that. That's what sucks to me is there isn't a ton of history here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's all stuff that happened off camera.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know. That's where I'm at, Brian.
Yeah.
Like I sound like a total
actually kind of perfect for this movie. A little scattered.
It's I don't regret having watched it, but I will say this. Whenever certainly, since I've been married, the Bond movies come out in the fall, and for my wife's birthday, it's been our thing. If there's a Bond movie, we'll go have dinner. We go see the new Bond movie. Mm-hmm. And it's usually, I've already seen it by then. And I'm always like, oh, I can't wait to go see it again with her. And this one, it's like, all right, well, I guess I'll be watching this again with her.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did have that feeling too, because I have like the set, like the Blu-ray set, all but this one. And then I even thought, I was like, will I watch this one again? And I'm sure I will at some point.
At some point.
When I revisit sort of this whole series or whatnot. But yeah, I doubt this is one that, you would go back to often.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so that's where we're at with what was this one called? No Time to Die.
Time to Die.
I was genuinely curious where you were going to land with this. So I was relieved that we kind of ended up in the same neighborhood.
I would say, definitely in the same neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there we go. If you have thoughts that either agree or disagree with us, we would certainly love to hear them. And please send them to us via email. You can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there.
I should add, by the way, not being on Twitter, a lot of people reach out to you there, but Zaki's really good about sharing these things with me since I'm not on Twitter. And when people send nice comments and respond to things we said, Zaki does share this stuff with me, and we both get really like very appreciative when we hear from people. So
it's very kind. All the thoughts are very kind.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Well, before we go, Brian, anything you want to hype up?
Puppy Dog Pals, they're dropping kind of slower these days, but we have a whole new season coming up later this fall. But that's still cranking away on Disney Plus, and Disney Junior.
There you go. As for me, you can find me at the San Francisco Chronicle and also at IGN, where my articles appear regularly. And, of course, here at the Movie Film Show, we've got plenty of stuff planned. We got lots of commentaries coming through the end of the year. So lots of stuff there. As always, please, in addition to your questions and comments, please, if you enjoy what we're doing, go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps, and we appreciate that as well. If you're looking for me on Twitter, you can find me at Zaki's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. And as Brian said, he's not on Twitter, and as a result, he's much more emotionally well-adjusted. But anything else you want to say, Brian?
No, just that I was really looking forward to talking about this with you. So this has been really fun.
This is an interesting one, yeah, because I just have not had an opportunity to even really vocalize or verbalize or put my thoughts in any kind of a sequence because I didn't do a write up about this either. So this has been the first time where I kind of it was just like a stream of consciousness.
Do you wonder, 5 years from now, with distance and we've got a new Bond and whatnot, and when you pop these, Blu-rays in or whatever, and you go through the Craig era again, do you think they might they'll never be completely what you want, but do you think they'll settle in a little bit and you'll be able to?
I said this on Twitter, Brian. I said that if you like binge watch all 5 of these movies, I think it wraps things up in a way that should be reasonably satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel it. I mean, I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. So could it have been better? Yeah. I expect so. I mean, the way we look at all of these things with the benefit of hindsight. I mean, Dark Knight Rises, I'm mostly okay on now, But that movie too, I see the flaws, the perceived flaws, my perceived flaws.
Right.
But yeah, it's fine,
Yeah.
And with this, I already got there. What took me a few years to get to with Dark Knight Rises, I was already there because I was like, all right, well, this is just this, and they're going to do the other thing next, Maybe it'll also depend on what comes next.
I think for me, that's always the case. When I get the next thing, and then this thing isn't the only thing that is dependent on me, like, do you like it or not? Like, and it just becomes another chapter. I go easier on them.
Yeah. I expect that'll be the case.
Yeah.
And that seems like the most emotionally healthy way to approach it. Right? One would hope.
Yeah.
You don't stay pissed off about a movie for the next 15 years, But we'll see. We'll find out whenever the next James Bond movie happens, I guess.
Yeah, and I did, or we stayed till the very end just to see the James Bond will return.
And there it was.
There it was.
So I'm sure that's a conversation we will be having in the months and years ahead.
Mm-hmm.
However, we will also be back very soon with our next commentary track, Brian, which is The Matrix Reloaded.
Oh man, I am so ready to go back to Matrix World.
Let's do it. That's a coming. Hopefully soon. Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, on behalf of Brian and myself, thanks everybody for listening. This has been MovieFilm 233. See you next time.
Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.